Hello, good morning, everybody. My name is Shamal. Today, I'm going to talk about or try to understand a different topic, that is our living world. So, why to select this topic? This is what is there to learn to understand about the living world. So, it is already there. But to analyze those things and coming to a conclusion whether this living world, apart from human being, the animal world, they are also surviving in this world for millions of years along with the humans. So, is there any difference of understanding of their life? So, we analyze it that we are more civilized now. The animals, they remain same at their place. Their basic instinct is there at their place. They are also surviving equally in this mother earth. From childhood, this is also a bit curiosity, and that drives me to understand for last 40 years when my consciousness towards the interliving world, and when I grow up with lot of animals around. My childhood, it went with many animals. I used to have lot of animals as a pet, like cats, like dogs, like guinea pig, and mongoose, nevla. So those are the things, ducks, chickens, and buffaloes. So those are the things that I have seen around me, and sometime I closely watch them. And when I grow up, I have studied also little bit the monkey, chimpanzee, tiger, uh, guinea pigs, and as a pet, like I used to be fond of watching cats, their behavioral patterns. So, friends, studying the animals, their behavioral pattern is one of the fascinating structure. Probably it can help you to understand how the animal world is no different from the human world. That is one of the criteria. So even in childhood, when in the basic biology we have studied the how the animal world or living world evolved. There are theories that have come for the scientific analysis. When science came into the picture, that in human they try to analyze that how the evolution process, how they are evolved. So it is the Charles Darwin in 19th century. He tried to sum up few things. So he felt that natural selection probably is the one of the theory that he has proposed, and because of that evolution, diversity, that many things that come up in the world, the basic principle is the natural evolution process. So, friends, what I'm trying to tell over here. So, in 1859, when Charles Darwin proposed the theory of this great evolutionary theory, that is the origin of species, mostly his notable work, different forms of flowers and plants of the same species. So directly he's talking about the variations among the same species. Now, in today's time, if you see the diversity of the same species, like humans, they have uh, many diversified in terms of their form, in terms of their biological uh, development, that is directly indirectly influenced, basically the geographical conditions global, that has been changed. That studies has been done for last 100 and 150 years. We have come to a conclusion why these diversities are more. Similar way, animal world also, there are species, there are subspecies in the same animal world, either it is cats, dogs, monkeys, horses. So those are the part of the natural selection that is happening through millions of years. Now, what I am trying to say over here, those are the evolutionary thing that has been, a lot of research that has been done. But what about the other things? One is the natural selections once you grow up. Now, if you think of a biological system, so it has got two, three things there. One is the development part, and their biological needs for continuation the same species for million years. So their biological development in and their reproductive system, so their biological needs that is been changed in different ways. Each species is having different mechanism of doing reproduction, either it is sexual, asexual, vegetative. There are many things that is happening, regeneration, those things are there in the science or in the living world. So each organism or each animal, they are having the way of multiplying certain things. So this is the process of evolution. So now the thing is, this is a life. Each organism is having a self life. So that is also decided and designed, like, no, in the process of evolution. Now the questions remains, what about the emotional side? Emotional includes, I am talking about only the animal and human beings. I'm not talking about the plants. So whether they have emotions or have, are, is there or not, it probably, I cannot say that, but there is no such research paper that shows that the plants of the equal emotions like animal world, animals, the way they react. Probably in the plant itself, like, no, Jesse Bose, probably the first scientist who invented that plants also had got life. So that is also a kind of a new scientific light that is also given in 19th century, that plants also having life. So our knowledge are very limited. What I'm trying to tell you, that whatever scientific lights we are giving in the living world, it is restricted from like 18th century to current date. Before that, there are scientific developments. It is not in the very organized form or not even documented, rather say, because our science documentation is not there. Whatever available scientific data, on that basis I am talking about. Now the question is here again, plants, whether they also react to the some kind of stimulants or not. Obviously there are some enzymatic actions. Some plants, they respond immediately with certain environmental factors. They close their leaf, even sometime their uh, food habits also. We know that plants are generally do the photosynthesis. There are photosynthetic plant, non-photosynthesis plant. By trapping carbon dioxide with photosynthesis, they form the carbohydrate, that is the main thing, with water. So in presence of oxygen, that is the normal thing what is available in our knowledge. There are certain bacteria who are nitrogen fixing bacteria. There are certain organism, uh, like algae and all, they do photosynthesis. So some marine organisms, bacteria. So there are various ways of, at the end of the day, finally, whoever organism is living in this mother earth, they have their own mechanism for their survival. Now, this is, I talked about the plants. For the animals also is the same fundamental things. They work only for animal. They are not able to do the photosynthesis, so they are partially dependent on the natural resources. So that's why if you see in the animal world, it's a big, or including human being, we are the part of the food chain. So it is, there are some higher orders from the lower organism to higher organism. There are omnivorous, carnivorous. So each organism is trying to tap the other organism. So that way your complete food cycle is been completed. It, when it goes to top of the pyramid, again it comes back. After death, again it comes back to the nature. So in that sense, that your world's total organic source is is constant. It is maybe some, uh, or the total weight of the earth is constant. It is not increasing or decreasing, because biomass, there are certain conversion from organic to, there are a lot of minerals that is converted again to the natural resource and consumed as a food. It's a basically process that is involved, but whatever things are happening, that is within the earth and it biological system, or the sharing of the organic uh, content is being shared by different living objects. So friends, this is one of the criteria or the path for their survival mechanism. So now I talk about the emotional part. When I talk about the emotional part, so we always feel the humans are more emotional, more sensitive, more reactive, for various reasons. But this is what we analyze, right? But when we see from our eyes that what is exactly happening in the animal world, probably it can, if you really get into the deeper analysis of the animal world apart from human, so from human angle, if you analyze, you will see the a kind of a different story. Now the question is whether animals are more emotional than animal. Yes, there are a lot of studies that shows that animals are more emotional, more adaptive, and more defensive and more sensible compared to human being. So I'll try to explain those things, those qualities what animals are having, and whether we can learn something from those things from theoretical point of view. Because sometimes human, we feel that we have nothing to learn from anybody. We are the most highly evolved animal in this earth. But one thing one has to remember, Charles Darwin has never told that if evolution is the process, then what next after human being? So the time, right? If you put the evolution process in the time scale, so you never know that something might come more evolved animal than human being probably. That who can say today? And I am nobody to say that, but this is what the theory says, right? So if we have to believe evolution process as a natural process in terms of time scale. Now, friends, the evolution process is an area that focuses further development and reinforcement of modern synthesis of evolution and genetics. That is what I have told. It's a enduring Charles Darwin time. Probably the genetics terminology is not there. It came in the genetics, the subject that came or discovered in 1960s 70s, like no, when Watson and Crick and all, when they discovered the genetic uh, double helix model, and the entire revolution in the biological field and lot of changes when you understand the inside of your cell, that there is a DNA double helix is there, and that is the DNA is doing all kind of work which you call in modern day the evolution process. These are the basic fundamental thing in the very molecular level. So friends, my topic or intention is not to talk about how this genetic code is helping or not. My intention is to talk about the emotional part of the animal. As per my experience goes, when I watch closely this animal world, I told you I could see there are a lot of difference between or similarities between human and animals. So even though those things are not very closely documented, some are documented now, things are available, people are more interested, there are a lot of scientific research that is going on various animals like chimpanzee, monkey, elephant, dolphins, a lot of sea animals that they're living. So those kind of animal behaviors study also that is going on. So my take for animal world, if human has to learn and if they are ready to accept certain things or some lessons they can learn from animal, I told there are many things they can take up. The first lesson is you should be loyal to anybody. That they can learn from dogs, right? The loyalty is a subject. It differs in case of human from subject to subject, person to person. But in case of animal, the loyalty remains same irrespective of the conditions. So we are very intelligent people. That's why we are highly evolved. We say this is what kind of evolved, selective evolved or evolution, that in terms of when the emotions are coming, that has to be again understood. The second point, you can be strong and grateful, like your physical and mental strength should be such a in manner like that, irrespective of any condition you should be very very strong. The weakness, you should not allow the weakness to get into your system. That is going to lead you frustration, and that will have the cascade effect. So one can go into depression. Animal also they get into the depression, but very often they succumb to such kind of depression level. But as I told you, for animal world, they have to extract their food, their shelter, their biological system, or they're mentally equipped with such kind of environment. Like, no, as we human, we can store food for many months, many years, for generations, for thinking that if something goes wrong, what is going to happen. But in case of animals, there are very few animals probably they save food for the future. So exactly, they do not have the future, they live in present. So they think of the moment, and they actually try to find out ways and means to live, and for their survival they try to find out their things what is required at that particular moment. That includes the shelter part. Now, this is what one has to learn from the animal world, that whichever conditions you may be, either it is good, bad, or natural conditions, or if it is the worst condition, and you need to show your character so you can be strong. And if some systems are assisting you, you should be grateful to acknowledge that. In animal world, this acknowledgement power is also there are a lot of instances, it has been shown. Sometimes they give direct or indirect thanks to humans and whoever is helping them, so that gratitude is there with the animals. Now, think hard before you take any decisions. Another point from animals, they think many times, they don't jump into any kind of emotional drive to do that, they do it, but their basic instinct, they think, then they try to execute it in terms of attacking their prey. They have the real patience, like in case of tiger, in case of lion, in case of cats. See, they wait for very long time, and they want to make sure they are going to catch this prey. They should not miss the opportunity. So their target or success ratio is high. That's why in human life, sometimes we need to also make sure, rather than targeting many things, we might have many ideas, many things, but once you focus certain things, you need to channelize it and to make sure that you want to be successful. Another issue is another life lesson, that is I'm going to talk about. You live for the moments and make the most out of it. What is happening exactly in the society, you see that we have everything, but our frustration level, our anxiety level is much more higher than the animals. So where is the problem? Now that has to be understand. We don't laugh, we don't smile, or we don't feel happy at the end of the day, even if we have everything. We have the best technologies, best knowledge, best understanding. Even though this happiness is missing, that is missing in the family domain, missing in the society level, missing in the higher order also. Wherever you see that happiness is not there, we are just doing mechanically certain things, but this, when it comes to sharing something, enjoying something, that is not there. But in the animal world, if you see their sorrows, their pains, their enjoyment, when they get a prey, they try to share with everybody, that makes sure the each member is getting their communities. And that way they are very kind of a holistic approach they make it. in terms of their living standard also. If you see the monkey community where 300, 400, or 1000 monkeys are living, each one is having their shelter, and probably they have their defined areas where they go and pick up their foods, so they don't unnecessarily get into the conflict zone one area to another area. Even for the dogs, if you see, if they are living in a society or in the street, but they have the clear cut demarcation, is one dog won't cross the other lane because it is the area. It shows the even the tiger, even in the jungle, if you see the tiger, they have very kind of a demarcation zone, and their partners, everything, they are very dedicated way we are doing it. But in case of human being, it's a complete chaos. The reasons are known. If I want to explain what are the reasons, it will be a long story probably, and there will be a lot of question, lot of conflict, of lot of counter question might arise. But one, I can clearly see those things are happening in human because of the materialistic world. The human being, the desire is unlimited. Our expectation, our demand in terms of gathering the wealth, capturing lot of things that I should have, one, two, three, four, five, six. You want to see yourself that you are at the higher order of the human society, and you want to show others that you are much better than others. You have a lot of wealth, so you try to influence the whole system. And probably because of that, if you analyze 10,000 years civilization, there are systems that have come. This is because of the aggression, the monarchy, the dictatorship, jamindar system. Gradually, when our realization came into the picture, then socialism, so communism, all those ism that came into the picture, that people want to live with harmony. So they feel that the distribution pattern should be equal so that each individual gets an opportunity. Now, those are all idealistic thing. I told you the natural instinct of human being, they try to dominate. There are certain people, they feel that they have the right, if they have the knowledge or they have the power and skill, they can hold certain things. They come back to their natural instinct. There is a say that animal world, their basic instinct, if a tiger cannot be made pet at home, if their basic instinct to kill or attack somebody, you cannot erase them. Like the similar way, if human minds are designed to be aggressive, designed to be dominating, so the obvious things are coming, the materialistic things will be attached to them. Otherwise, because of the same natural resources, if I want to become rich today, the only way I can do that, provided I try to gather wealth by a natural mean, in terms of using my influence, in terms of using my knowledge or power, whichever. The monarchy time kings used to do by influencing their power, so that I am powerful, let me attack A, B, C, D country, capture them, gather their wealth. In colonization time, in 16th century, the same thing. So people, the intelligent people, used to move from one direction to another direction. They used to feel wherever you have natural resource, let them go and colonize, use the natural resource, and try to extract as much as possible and try to take back at their respective country. So friends, what again I was curious to know, curious to talk about. My intention is not talk about the human aggression is spoiling the whole thing or not, that is not my subject or topic to tell. But the greater way, as a whole, if you see in humanity, when we talk about good living for each and everybody, whoever is living in this world, so definitely one we should need to concentrate. We should learn from the animal world that they have the follow the rule of I can rather say rule of distribution of their whatever they earn, either through one individual. They try to see that everybody is happy. So for them, happiness, for them, food might be the single reason. So we talk about, but they make sure that everybody should get the share at the end of the day. But in case of human being, that is exactly not happening. It is not happening. It is totally opposite. So we always talk about, in this century there is a slogan that roti, kapda and mokan, that you need for a life, you need bread, you need shelter, and you need dress. So animal, they don't need dress. So I minus the dress part. So human, they need dress because you are civilized. Because if you go back to the ancient civilization, people used to have, they don't used to have, even they don't know how to fire came into very recent time. Although, so this is a topic, probably you used to have the raw things like animal they are having in their biological system food chain. They will attack some animal, poor animal, and they will try to satisfy their hunger. So I was talking to a very interesting topic, that is, I talked about roti, kapda, makan. If you eliminate the kapda part, so then animal and human being remain same. So animal also needs roti and makan. For animals, even they don't need the shelter. The nature is the shelter for them. Because of our love, we try to give them shelter as a pet. We try to protect them. But millions of animals, they are living in the natural domain. So nobody knows about them. Also, they are dying. How naturally, we are not knowing anything. So those things are not the thing. That the point remains here. At the end of the day, everybody requires roti, means food that is coming from the natural resources. So friends, I, as a normal sensible person, again analytical person, a logical point of view, I was trying to understand few things like distribution of wealth. When you are talking about the distribution wealth, I can give an simple give a simple example, that to analyze the whole thing, the example might be anything for that matter. Let me take one example. Let's say if you have 1 liter water, that you feel that you have the final product that has to be given to 10 people, all are thirsty. So what you do, in general sense, if you applied the logic, the morality, the ethics, the humanity, what essentially a normal person is going to do, they will take 10 cups and distribute this water into 100 ml into each cup and will offer to them. This is a kind of holistic mind. So it's a natural instinct that says you distribute in this manner because you have only 1000 ml water. Let's distribute it. But Now, if you put certain clause over here that no, I won't be able to distribute 1000 ml on proportional ratio, it has to be distributed based on in the order of something means, so in my office I have a general manager, a manager, then I have engineer, then I have office boy, I have some clerical staff, that includes the total 10. So as a boss, I say, look, you distribute this water, that 500 ml you give it to the general manager, 200 ml you give it to manager, so it is 700 ml. You have remaining 300 ml, you give 200 ml to engineers, rest you distribute for the lower order, the office boy and clerk. So what, as a boss, a system is trying to impose certain rules. Look, there is a rule that is there, and this is way you need to distribute it, and you are creating an equality and inequality among those 10 people, and you try to make everybody unhappy in this system. But here in case of animals, so whenever they get a prey, they'll try to see each one is trying to satisfy their hunger at the fullest. Here you have the opportunity which is restricted or abundantly available for the top order, and the lower order is getting very less. So when you need to understand the society as a whole, if you are not able to take very holistic approach to understand it from this small example, then all issue probably won't be resolved and it will remain. What is exactly happening in the human world, we are not able to understand fully, and we are not able to execute those things in a full-fledged manner. That's why if you see globally, whichever country you take, there is a inequality of wealth distribution. There are rich, poor, middle class, lower middle class. That class system in terms of their wealth, it is there. So once you have the wealth, you feel yourself superior. The religion and other things, again, for thousands of years, the religion also came into the picture. It is to promote, again, the dominance of certain things. You take from Jesus Christ, Muhammad, all spiritual, Gautam Buddha, everywhere we talk about the spirituality, but this spirituality, somewhere it is universal, somewhere it is not universal. But the main objective to bring everybody into order, so that they make you believe that that particular philosophy they are propagating, it is good for the society. Now society means the common people need to accept it. So once it is coming from the top order, so as a normal individual, you are forced to enter into that particular zone. You accept and listen that this is what it is good. What again I am trying to tell here, this particular things is happening in present day across globe. Previously this has happened. History, if you really go back to the history, you will find the same situation happened. There are conflict, there are fight between one religion to another religion because of aggression. One I talked about the basic instinct. They fight, they try to capture one country, another country, they make slave. All those things are is the impact of the basic instinct, the human greeds. whether it is a basic instinct or not, because we are much more evolved, our mind, because some minds are very superior, they feel that this is the final thing probably they want to have as their goal, and they do at their last breath of their life. So we cannot deny the history. We can go back, read anybody for that matter. So whatever documents or history available with us. Now, I told the distribution, unequal distribution of wealth globally, that is exactly happening. There are wealth that is accumulated with few sets of people. If you really take a note out of it, the total world's health wealth is been captured by, like, 80 to 90% wealth is captured by close to 40 million people. So among 40 million people, you have total world population is close to 740 crore. So out of that, the major beneficiary is close to 40 millions. It's a very, very insignificant percentage that are holding the total uh, wealth of the earth. So this is one of the major reason of inequality. Now, if I take India, what is happening in India, that is close to 10% of Indians are holding 77% of the total wealth of India. Now remember this data, that is the 10% of Indians are holding 77% of total wealth. This is as per 2017 data. Rest are being shared by the common people. Rest is the 30%. Now, if you take the top 10% of 140 crores, that is how much? 14 crores. So you minus from 140 to 14 crores, how much it is coming? 126 crores people are only remaining with 33% of the natural resources. Now, how do you expect this country to prosper? This is obvious and this is natural. This is the fundamental thing. I am not talking about the global statistic. This is the fundamental thing that we need to understand. When we are not able to understand those things, we should not talk about good economics or good economy. Whatever good economy, bad economy is coming because of the basic fundamental thing as per 2017 data. And this is not today's data, it is happening. You take it from the Aryan civilization to present day civilization. The time Aryan civilization started, we have divided our system based on the work. We have divided that Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, and we have a specific job to perform. Probably it tends to the caste system into the place, and after that, if you start analyzing history, there are monarchy, there are Jamindar system, and there are rulers. They come into the picture because India is having a lot of wealth, though, as their idea is to come and take whatever wealth you have, taking back the natural resource at their respective country. So this Shok, Hun, Dol, Pathan, Mughal, all those people they have come, and some they have stayed because of the love. They felt that okay, it's a nice place to stay, so let them stay. So some they felt no, it is not the right place. We have done business and we went back. British they have done it. 16th century they came as a East India Company. So 300 years they have used the Indian resources. They have tried to develop some intellectual class, educated class, giving some education, and they have tried to serve their purpose by giving education. So on later stage, when people realize that too much exploitation, then the revolution or freedom movement came. The man like Gandhiji, Subhash Chandra Bose, all people, Binoy Badal, Dinesh, Matangini Hajra, all those things happened in the history. You go back, what not. So finally, we got the freedom. We fought for the freedom that we want to have a India which is unified India. So we do not want India on the basis of religion or caste. It should be divided. But finally, it never worked. There is a split within the freedom fighting movement. The leaders with their vested interest, either it can be Muhammad Ali Jinnah, Jawaharlal Nehru, Mahatma Gandhi, you name anybody, and there is a fuel to that, Lord Mountbatten. So British they are very clever. So because of their clever, that's why they could rule the country, they rule the world for 1,000 years. So they have colonized in Australia, New Zealand, many other countries they have captured for in the name of business. That is again part of the history, and they found India is a suitable place, and they have given education to very limited set of people. Again, that is also the educated class, the Brahmin community. They have awarded with Rai Chaudhuri and all. So it is a kind of a reward. And if you go back to the monarchy also, if you are doing good work, good scientific work, so they will award you. So they have again developed a intellectual sophisticated class, the Brahmin society. So India, the same thing is continuing even after independence. They feel pride or proud about the whole thing. British they have rewarded them. No, now they have the moral right to do or serve the country. Now the question is again, before British you have the Jamindar system. If you try to analyze, again the Jamindar system is nothing but again the accumulation of the wealth. So we have tried to break the rule Jamindar system, but India after independence also, we as I have told you, our aim, many freedom fighter like Subhash Bose and Dr. Shama Prasad Mukherjee, they have the vision that we should have a India which is not divided. But whichever way, whichever means, in 1947 at midnight, we are splitted into two nations, that is India and Pakistan. So Jawaharlal Nehru, he is our prime minister. Muhammad Ali Jinnah is their prime minister, and Bangladesh, the present, is the part of India in 1971. It has been separated with help from India, and now there are three countries. Now the same conflict last 73 years it is going on the basis of religion, caste, and inequality. For what we have fought our freedom, fought our forefathers for the freedom. Friends, my intention of telling all those things are we really want to refresh our history and try to analyze that where we are going wrong. In today, if we need to have a society, a uniform society, we need to think in a different way without having any biasness in mind. Otherwise, you cannot create one uniform society. Otherwise, you will see there are a lot of fights that is going on. Either it can be the political reason or religion reason, or it can have scarcity of food, the poverty line or poverty index is going up because of that reason, that inequality, as I have told you, the wealth distribution. So those things are going to be exploded in coming days until or unless we try to control the situation or think about it, how to take necessary step. For that purpose, you need to have a good quality leadership. That leadership, from which direction will come, that probably one need to think. Our civil society must be aware about those facts, and our political system is doing bits and pieces in order to control population, bring the uniform laws, so that in one India, one law, but there are a lot of hindering factors. They're trying to set up the marriage policy that some country with different law, they have the different treatments. Then Kashmir now are integrated as part of the India, and they are part of the Indian constitution. That is a very good thing. So those things are very positive side. Now we need to take those things further to, in order to resolve the issue. Another thing is, in India, what is happening? Like, in 1970s, after independence in 2025 years, when India government brought the Land Deformation Act. So as I told you before, that we are under British rule, and in this British rule also there are Jamindar system. Before that also there is Jamindar system. So each one used to have huge amount of land, so that when you got the democracy and freedom, so in constitution there is there is a rule that you need to have the distribution of wealth. You cannot keep this much wealth into your bracket, rest you have to surrender to the government, and government is in terms willing to give it to whoever they want to give. So that policy that they have implemented, but the saddest part is, see, there are few states they could implement it, like Kerala, Bengal, and part of Punjab. So rest out of 29, 30 states, sorry. So friends, my purpose of telling all those things are very simple. Until or unless we see everything in open mind, our political system, the global leaders, the major challenges what they are going to counter. So the major challenges are many. Major challenges, number one, the poverty, the population. The world population will be doubled. Now you have 730 or 40 crores. It will be doubled by 2050. So how each country is going to accommodate everybody's roti, kapda, and mokan? Those are the challenges, probably greater challenges. One should think there would be some global consciousness in order to eliminate that. We talk about the war. History has seen many wars: First World War, Second World War, 1945. Before that one war, there are Cold Wars. Now there is a major threat, though openly we are not accepting the corona crisis, coronavirus. I think it is a accumulated result of the biological war that we are expecting, and we have expected long back. Many scientists, they have talked about the biological war, using that invisible organism to destroy the humanity. So we have to be very careful and serious, though we are not openly telling who is doing what, who is responsible. But definitely there are some reservations that is coming from countryside. Now each country is, they have their own democracy or whatever, rule of law. So their openness is not there for any country for investigation. So friends, my purpose of telling that is telling this world is going to face the major challenges in coming days, and it might take a kind of sporadic safe in days to come. So it is very, very important that we think and rationally and try to do it. As animal world, as I have told you, animal world much more uh, not affected by the so much conflict. I have told you their fight is only for their survival, and they have their own way or methodology of living. And our animal one, probably one has to learn a lesson that whatever bad animal instinct you have, there are certain animal, they are also having bad instinct. That bad instinct, like very aggressive aggression, I'm not talking in general all animals. There are certain animals, they're very calm, quiet, like deer. So when I talk about the deer, it is like the philosophy of Buddhism, philosophy of love. If you sit in front of a deer, you never ever feel that there is a difference between a sitting in front of deer and sitting in front of a cheetah or a lion or a tiger or a tigress. So whoever it might be, sitting in front of animal like elephant, horse, you get different kind of inspiration or different kind of perception in your life, that those animal reacts in a different way, and you also understand their behavioral pattern. So human instincts also change, humans behavioral pattern also changed. That's why it is very important to have the influence of great personalities. In time to time, the world has given, if you go back to American history or African history, so the fight among all communities, racism, so starting from Abraham Lincoln to Nelson Mandela to Mother Teresa. So there are many reformers that have come to our society. They have tried to give love, compassion to come down. They have tried to bring down the natural rule or natural path of leading life, starting from Ramakrishna Dev, Swami Vivekananda, all those spiritual leaders. We say spiritual leaders. They're, they have the fundamental ideology or fundamental ethics to spread the better sense of spreading the humanity. So this is what it had happened. Now the political system now in present 21st century, each country is having their own political agendas, their own rules. So the final objective, if we have to serve the humanity, and we have to finally come down to a level how best way we can do it, that is the ultimate thing. Like animal world, as I have told you, for millions of years they have not changed. Today a tiger, the way they behave, they will behave this way. A monkey, how they behave, it is not changed much. Their social consciousness, love for their families, love for the society, it is not been changed. For a deer, for a monkey, for a cat, for a dogs, those are not been changed. But then if you see in human world, if you analyze 3 4 thousand years history, it has been changed drastically. Time to time, the aggression, the reaction, and it changes very fast. And that's why there are a lot of reforms that has been taken place. And again, again coming back to the original form, the basic instinct what human is holding. So my purpose of telling that there are many things to learn from the animal. So this fair play, we talk about every time, that fair play should be there. That is the rule of the game. When we try to play a game, life is also a game. So we always see that the fair play is done. So finally, I want to end up by saying that there is one say in the dolphin world that you talk less, listen more. Or if you see in the desert, the animals what they are living, they they are the most fundamental thing that how to live or lead a life in the adverse conditions. So that is one of the aspect probably one need to learn from those animals, and probably one should not or never announce your moves before you make them. What I'm trying to tell over here, if you have any policies, first you make sure those things are workable, then you try to execute it. Don't be in a hurry to implement certain things, and don't give up if people try to bring down. You try to be as stronger as possible. Those are the animal, they have learned all those three things automatically from nature, or it's a part of their defensive mechanism. No matters how tough your life, be calm and deal with politeness or deal with intelligence. That is what one need to do. As I am again telling that always stand tall and be proud of your ideas and understanding, and try to respect or try to use your own trust and instinct and act upon them, and always try to save for the expected odd days in your life. Don't spend, overspend. The spending has no limit. You should know that in crisis time you might be requiring something. That animal world, they are very aware about old facts, like a simple rat, they try to store foods for a rainy season. Even birds, there are many birds, they store foods in their nest for the adverse conditions. Nobody taught them. Now my question is, being as a human being, we are exposed to education, technology, many things, but animal world, they are never ever exposed to those conditions. They have learned, maybe they are, it is genetically inbuilt those properties. When we talk about the evolution, probably Charles Darwin has never thought of, because science probably it is not that way. He has taken one dimension into factors, that emotional part, those are the conflict or interest, what I have told you, that animal world probably they have the inbuilt certain properties within for their survival. That's why they are surviving in this mother earth for millions of years. Interestingly, if we say that in the biological system, our what is our share? We are less than, like we are 0.01% of the total population of the earth. That includes plants, animals, and everything. So this is a quite interesting figure, and those figures can be mind boggling, like close to 70 80 78% population, it belongs to plants. Rest is the small microorganism, 13%. Rest is shared, few small percentage of share is taken by the plants and human and the animal part. Even if it is not the 1% of the total population of the earth, that includes everything. Friends, it is very important and fascinating. I've been talking for a long time, and uh, I want to conclude now by saying that in life we need to make some sacrifices in life. That is the animal world. They always are ready to sacrifice in their biological system is designed. Similar way, human also be ready to sacrifice something. Even it should not be told theoretically that sacrifice, it should actually happen. As I have been telling or speaking for many years, and I am holding this philosophy for many years, that sacrifice is very, very important component of, if your mind is not capable to sacrifice certain things, if your mind is designed only to have the materialistic thing in mind, if your mind is designed to accumulate whatever things possible, then you indirectly try to eliminate others and try to deprive others. Those sacrifice means I want to say few words over here. We talk about the micro and macroeconomics. I've been seeing very closely, watching some of the Nobel laureates, their work in economics part. There are a lot of scientists, they have worked on poverty elevation studies, how to improve their life and all. I think they must go back and visit the entire world economy, how it works, how it operates, and their fundamental things, the how economy's wealth is being distributed, who is holding what. When we say that all the economic work, all the Nobel laureate, I am not naming anybody, probably you can understand whom we are referring. If work has to be very holistic, now you should clearly demark that, as I have told the story of 1 liter water story, if two people are consuming 75% water, rest 30% is being distributed by for the 8 people, that inequality. So what in economics science, what we are doing it, we are only analyzing this 30% water and the total population close to 80-90% population who are deprived with those benefits. Now you cannot expect what we are all trying to do, trying to manipulate this 300 ml water and try to distribute and try to extrapolate something and give it back. So in that way, the actual development is not possible. If fundamentally, if you are not address the issues, the wealth distribution, how, if a economy in a democratic process, if anybody is holding such a big wealth, and that's why in voluntarily, what in present day in 21st century, the things are happening because of moral ground. There are a lot of big personalities, they are sacrificing their wealth. I told you in in case of Dr. Nobel, Alfred Nobel, in my some lecture I told you he has donated his 94% of his total wealth for the Nobel Foundation. You talk about uh, great person like Mandela and Bill Gates Foundation. So he's donating millions of billions of dollars for the development of poor countries with the facilities for water, system science and technology. Many places they're investing. In India, Dr. Ratan Tata, the Tata Group, they are also investing for charity and all. Those philanthropic activities that are going on, but in coming days, there must be something, some mechanism to distribute the huge amount of wealth that hold by certain people. So that distribution, if it is not there, there must be implementation of Land Deformation Act, so that poorer people are access to the land for cultivation. So those kind of adverse condition is not going to arise if all civil society people, either it is poor or rich, if each one is playing their roles, things will be fine, I personally feel. Finally, I want to end off by saying if lions, they have always keep on their goals. Without goal, life is impossible, and always work hard in modern day, work intelligently, and stay humble like a lion. Once gets the prey, you see the calmness. So once you achieve the goal, you should not be very excited about the whole thing, that you have done a great job, what you have achieved for your own purpose. So it's not the question of celebrating and making things more complicated by irritating others. So, so always humans should know that where one need to draw the line. So finally, I want to conclude again by saying you should be proud of yourself, and whatever you are doing, if your consciousness says that you are doing the right thing, you should be proud of that, and one should continue that spirit. So, thank you very much once again for hearing me out. It's a long speech. Again, it is not a prepared speech. I have spoken from my heart. For many years, I have been trying to say whatever I want to say, but being as a normal human being, sometimes I feel that if I have certain ideas, I have certain philosophy of life, if I strongly believe that is good, I should express, because you got a life, an opportunity to express your views, not harming anything. Again, I'm not telling one should implement overnight. It's a thought process. One need to realize whether those things are bad or good. It is the country, it is the system has to implement. If it has to be implemented, this is none of my business, but I have obvious right to understand the society, the history, the past, the present, the today, and the future. So in totality, one need to see the consequences, what is coming. As I have been telling that things are not good, our future is not very rosy. We are moving towards a very kind of standstill environment because of this corona. As I'm telling, I'm not simply telling this corona is a one kind of disease that is attacking human being. So we need to really analyze the reason whether we are moving towards a kind of a biological warfare. This is what exactly, even it is not directly told, but it is exactly seen from the past history. Probably I can analyze that. This is my anticipation. I might be wrong, I might be right, I do not know, but I have every right to express my view. So uh, we should be very, very, very careful and sensible whatever we are doing, our act for our future generation, at least to shape the future generation, shape the humanity. We must work collectively. Thank you very much. This is not a prepared speech at all. Again, there might be some inflow of thoughts which is not channelized in the proper direction, but I have tried to convey that this animal world also is doing much better than us at current moment, and they have been doing it for millions of years. So their existence also intact. We are qualified. We have the added advantage. We are the thinkers. We are the motivators. But we are not able to motivate our own community that what is good, what is bad. We are not able to put right laws or right thought process, not able to inject in the society. So obviously, we want to give credit to the animal world. They could successfully do it without having access to all those things. They are struggling each and every moment for their survival. We are privileged to have all those access, even though we are not happy at all. So one need to see finally we are all happy at the end of the day. What is more important is happiness. your education, your everything is at the end of the day, it is irrelevant. All what you are doing for your need. If you are more educated, probably you can earn more. If you are more qualified, probably you can speak intellectually more to spread the message. But at the end of the day, what is important is as a society as a whole, an individual can be enriched with many things, but if you see in totality, and one has to see the whole spectrum of the society, how it has been developed. Again, once again, thank you very much. There could be repetition of my thought. So I want to end up saying be safe, be calm, be quiet, be logical. So life is important. So that has to be taken into consideration. Life is important for me, life is important for a animal equally. So when you try to be very aggressive in front of any animal, if you feel that I feel pleasure to kill that animal and consume lot of things, and I try to increase my wealth, my energy, my satisfaction. It is one way of looking the entire thing. I think one should analyze in a dialectical way. The dialectical thought process is says you think from the reverse side, the opposite side, that how you can analyze the whole thing, then your matter will be very clear, crystal clear. The theory nowadays is very popular that to analyze certain things not only from your point of view, you see the other point of view, what they think about, talk about. The dialectical thought process, again, it's a intellectually, it can be given in a different shape, like chaos theory. We always say chaos theory is a kind of a chaos environment. It's not that way. One has to understand the diversity. Chaos is nothing but it's a diverse way, and you have to find the unity out of it. So it is very important to find out unity in diversity. That is the core of our human ethics and logic, and that's to be continued. Thank you very much once again. I'm so sorry for my long speech. Probably it should not bother anybody. Okay, it is choice up to you whether to listen or not. It is I cannot say that. Thank you very much. This is again Dr. Paul. My side, I have expressed my thing. Thank you very much. God bless everybody. Thanks a lot.
Hi Lalua. Lalu, how are you? Oh ho 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 ho. Nice to meet you.